Welcome to the latest episode of FiftyForward Exchange, a video series produced by Nashville nonprofit FiftyForward. The goal of FiftyForward Exchange is to discuss ideas or topics that are important to the older adult community. Today's FiftyForward Exchange features a well-known Nashville journalist who is focused on stretching the dollars. Thank you for joining us. I'm Vanessa Hickman, a longtime friend and former board member of FiftyForward. I have to admit, I'm a big fan of yours.
Well, I love what I do. The Miss Cheap thing is something that I came up with, almost 30 years ago, and I'm still loving doing it. It's a lot of fun. I like to think it helps people, but I have fun doing it for sure.
It does. Tell us a little bit more about it.
I started it when I was at the Nashville Banner. I was a business writer there, and I covered retail, which was, for the cheap part, it would be like, things you could get for Christmas gifts for $10 or less. And when I started it, I think my first column said that it wasn't really for people who were living on the edge, but more for people who wanted to be smart with their money. Mm-hmm. But now, I feel like everybody's living on the edge, and you still want to be smart with your money. So I worked for the Banner for 20-something years, and then for the Tennessean when the Banner closed, and then I retired from the Tennessean, and now I'm with Main Street Media, and it's 12 papers. And
I love it. So
it's a lot of fun, and we do a segment on News Channel 5 with Meryl Rose every week on Talk of the Town, and it's just a good opportunity to get out and see where the bargains are, talk about strategies, and just enjoy saving a little bit of money so that you can spend it somewhere else.
That's great. Well, since you say that, what are some of the best bargains and cheap finds that are in Nashville?
Well, that's a really good question, because there are a lot of them, and I think you have to be on the lookout for them. I mean, I've talked to people who say, that they don't ever use coupons and that they don't shop at Aldi or they don't shop at these places. But you have to be focused and intentional about saving money. Mm-hmm. And to me, it's not a Spartan lifestyle. It's more that you save one place to spend it somewhere else. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things I love to tell people about is free entertainment. And I just Nashville is so fortunate to have so much free entertainment. When you look at what the colleges and universities offer, the libraries, all the different festivals, and most of them are free, and they're not hard to find, and I try to highlight as many of those as I can. Other things, just the groceries. These days, groceries are hugely expensive, and it's so hard to justify paying so much more a week for your grocery bill than you used to, and you certainly, I think everybody can tell the difference. But I'm all about the digital coupons and to sign up for the loyalty programs and to really watch the flyers, and if chicken's on sale this week, it's a good week for chicken. I think people just go to the grocery willy-nilly and buy stuff that they want, that they think they want. But I think I'm all about trying to figure out ways to get the most for my money and to not waste food too. So that's another thing.
Good. For the 50 plus, is there a special day of the week that they should go to the grocery and to help them save the most? I mean, I know Kroger used to offer that.
Well, the groceries used to have senior days, and they don't have that anymore. Walgreens has the first Tuesday of the month is a senior day where you get a discount.
Tip. Okay.
And I think a lot of the restaurants they're not senior discounts, but you can sign up for their e-club, and they'll send you something free on your birthday, or if you're a Veterans Day, they always have free meals at a lot of restaurants. But you just have to look for these things, and there are not as many senior discounts as there used to be, but people ask me what is my best tip of all, and my best tip is always the just ask tip. And it's particularly good for seniors, because let's say that you've got to have your heat and air unit replaced at your home. That's a big ticket item, and so when you call around to have somebody come and look at it and give you a price, just say, do you have a senior discount? And I've heard from people that that the company will say, well, we don't have one, but let me check, and they'll give them 10% off, and 10% off something like that
that's huge.
Can be a lot of money. So I think it's always good to ask. The worst that can happen is they'll say no.
My mom used to say, ask not, have not. So.
Well, I just this week I was trying to order something, and I had missed the deadline for a 10% off on LL Bean on something I wanted to send as a gift to somebody, and And I tried to do it the night that it was expiring, and I couldn't get through. And so the next morning I called and tried to order it again, and they took the order. And I said, well, I tried last night to get the 10% off, and I couldn't get through. I said, is there any way you could honor that today? And she said, well, let me check. And she came back and said yes.
That's wonderful. I'm going to use that tip.
Well,
I never would have
it's
thought.
It's good. Well, the best story I've heard on that, you'll love this. Amy Grant, she was on TV, and I used to do this cheapest of the cheap contest where readers would send in their best, money-saving tips. Yeah. And so this reader wrote in that she had seen Amy Grant on TV and that Amy had on this gorgeous dress, and so she found somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew Amy, and got word to her that she wanted to borrow the dress.
Whoa!
I thought it took a lot of nerve. But anyway, she did, and Amy said yes, and they arranged for her to get the dress, and so she wore it to this special event,
and
then
the same
returned
size?
it. They were the same size, everything was
Okay.
perfect. So she sent it back to her, and so, of course, when I got that as part of my contest, I thought, well, I've got to confirm this. I can't just take her word for it. So I knew somebody who knew somebody who knew Amy Grant, and so I checked on it, and they said, sure enough, that had happened.
Wow.
And I mean, that they had pictures of both of them in the same dress.
Oh my gosh.
So I mean, it never hurts to ask.
Yeah,
I mean,
never.
I would never have enough nerve to ask a question like that, but
Well, not of
I couldn't
Amy
fit in
Grant,
Amy
but-
Grant's dress
well,
anyway.
me either. but to think about it would be fun. So that's a great tip. Tell me, with the cost of prescriptions can be just totally alarming, especially for people on fixed incomes. Any guidance there on ways that we can save money?
Well, generics for sure.
Okay.
And I think it's really, really smart to review and really get to know your Medicare plan, to know what's included and what's not included. And I'm on Medicare, and I did not realize that I had that over-the-counter
Choices.
benefit,
Yeah.
and that I was eligible for over $100 worth of over-the-counter medicines.
Well, tell me about that.
Well,
Okay.
it's this one is my plan. You just go online and sign up for it, and then you order from their. It's almost like Amazon.
Oh, really?
And you can order everything from a blood pressure machine to
Really?
Band-Aids to cough medicine to thermometers. I mean, almost anything. The list is long, and you just click on what you want, and they send it to your house. It's all
Really?
free.
So just like you said, just ask.
Just ask. I mean,
ask.
and I had no idea that was.
Wow.
I'm fairly new to Medicare, but I just didn't know that. And I do also know that that when you have a lot of prescriptions, that whatever your Medicare plan is, that some of them the pharmacies prices vary, so that it might be more at Kroger and less at Publix, or more at Walgreens or wherever. So you can have your Medicare representative look your medicines up, or you can look them up and see which pharmacy has them for the least amount. So I mean, I think you have to look at all that. Some of these pharmaceutical companies will send you samples if you ask for them. So I think you just have to be as proactive as you possibly can, and just see if there's a generic or something else that you could take. It's alarming to me how much people have to spend for medicine.
It is. Those are great tips. I never would have thought of that. So I guess a senior citizen could start by just asking their pharmacist, because some just don't like being online. I know my 80-year-old mom, she does not deal with the internet. But
Right, and that's another problem too. And that Good RX card is something else that a lot of people seem to have good luck with.
So tell me about that.
And it's a card you can get that's free, and you can use it at your pharmacy. And I don't think that it, in my experience, I haven't seen that it would save me anything anything below what Medicare was going to allow for it. But for people who are not on Medicare yet, that it might be an option. I know that people have saved with that, and it's easy to get, and it's free. You might as well just try it. It's like,
I think the biggest tip I've heard today is just ask.
well, that's always my favorite tip. I even had a lady tell me, and again, this was in the contest. She said that she had gone to her doctor's office, and that when she got there on the appointed time, that the doctor wasn't in, or they'd had to reschedule her or something, and so it was it was a hassle for her. But she saw a sign up behind the receptionist that said, if you don't cancel within 24 hours of your appointment, you will be charged $50. And so she told them that they owed her $50, and they sent it to her. They sent her $50. So,
Man, I'm gonna have to remember
I think
all of
she
these.
demanded it, but you have to be proactive on these things.
That's great. Well, my final question to you today, with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up, what's the number one thing that we should look for that would be free or really low cost?
Well, I think the free entertainment because,
Okay.
you know, when you look at the holiday offerings, you have the Tube of Christmas that's down at First Baptist.
Okay.
You have the Dickens of a Christmas in Franklin. There are all sorts of church, you know, concerts and lessons and carols and those sorts of things. There are free Santa visits at Bass Pro. Opryland, you know, my daughters, I have 4 grandchildren and 2 daughters, and we have made it a sort of tradition to go to Opryland Hotel, Gaylord Opryland, and during the holidays and do everything that is there that's free.
That's free. It's beautiful.
And, you know, the children are still young enough that they don't realize that we could be spending a fortune out there. But it's so much fun, and it's so beautifully decorated, and you can always park at Opry Mills and walk over there. It's not
and
not
it's
hard
lighted
to do.
too. Beautiful lights on
it's
the
beautiful. It's just it's a real gift to the city, I think. But you know, I just think that anybody who wants to save money can. But you know, as I said, people are living on the edge. It's tough, and I think for one of the tips that I like to give to seniors is to let your family and people who care about you know what you want for Christmas. Because my mother, I used to ask her, I'd say, "What do you want for Christmas?" She'd go, "Oh, just any old thing," you know. When that was not good, because then I'd get her any old thing. It'd be something she didn't need, you know, it's something that would be in the next garage sale. But I think, you know, like, I mean, I've started doing it with my children, that I want a gift card for a car wash, because I hate to pay for a car wash.
Yes.
You know, I'd love to have a gift card for, you know, for a manicure or something like that. But you can also, you know, let them know where you want to eat, you know, and ask them, say, well, what I'd really like for Christmas is for you to go with me and have dinner at so-and-so, you know, and make it where it's a get-together instead of something that you don't want. I mean, and I think, you know, so many people, so many seniors have downsized that they don't want a bunch of stuff. Knickknacks, you know.
Yeah, things to dust.
The things my aunt used to, my aunt used to call them put-arounds.
Put-arounds. I heard that. I love it.
But it's consumables are much better, I think.
Yeah, experiences are what we need at this point in our life, I think.
Well, I think so too, and I think so many people are hungry to be with their families and with their children and grandchildren and friends, that getting out and doing something together is much more valuable than, you know, just, and I think that's true with your friends, no matter what age you are. I think a lot of people would rather you say, let's go get a cup of coffee instead of buying each other a Christmas present, or go have lunch together instead of exchanging all these, and, you know, it's expensive to exchange all these presents.
It is, especially now. So
it really is.
Mary, it's been a real pleasure to meet you. As I said, I am a fan.
Well, you're
and
so nice.
I've learned so many new tips today. So thank you, and hopefully our seniors will also get a few tips that'll
Well, I
help
hope
them
so.
save
And
money.
you know, now that I'm at Main Street Media, that I'd love to get tips from you know, people who are seeing this. If people have ideas of ways to save, or that would be a great thing for them to share them with me.
Wonderful idea. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. Stay cheap.
We're so glad you joined us for this episode of 50forward Exchange. Maybe there's an idea or two here you can put into action. We look forward to seeing you again soon.